Hello everyone, and welcome back to the DOR Turbo Dismount Championship. I bet you thought I was never going to finish this series, but I don't give up on things like this, and especially seeing as this is such a fun championship as well. But to be honest, I thought I wouldn't do another video in this series either, seeing as the last time I uploaded one was actually over 2 years ago now. But the problem is, I've got nothing to do. I've got spare time on my hands, and I just came over my I just discovered my old DOR Turbo Dismount Championship videos, and I decided why not give it another round. So this, I believe, is going to be round 5 in the championship out of I think I'm going to do about 8 possibly. It's weird that I don't know how many rounds there are in the championship. It's just I think I said a number before and now I can't remember it. I'm going to say 8. So this is round 5 out of 8 in the championship. And of course this isn't about me competing against other drivers, it's about all of these beautiful vehicles competing against each other. We actually have a few more vehicles since the last race in this, or since the last event in this championship. I believe that when the last event came out, I think the Espionager was the most recent car. So welcome into the Pivot, the Magnum, the Jugger, the Loco, Old Creaky, Cantel, Whiplash, Jamboree and Lance. Anyway, let's introduce this course. So today we are at the Big Air Compo map, and this is all about who can fly the furthest. There's going to be no boost pads at all. It's just going to be about who flies the furthest. And if multiple cars make it to the end, it's going to be about the speed that they reach it to the end at. So let's start with the good old delivery van going first every time. And remember, we need to get every single car to full speed, like that, for it to be a fair test. Right, now the key is not to get too much air like that at the start, because otherwise you end up losing a lot of speed. And he is going to reach, that's, I think he landed just on the 60 level. Seeing as we have no accurate way of measuring how far they fly, I'm going to take it from the line where they land. And if they touch the line, it counts, even if the rest of their van or their vehicle is slightly further behind. Yeah, he made it over the, or as he landed there, he landed on, or did he land just before it? Let me test this. This is important. Just before the line or on it. I'm going to say that's on the line. So 60 is our first score, and that is for the delivery van. Next up, we have the Wedge, and I'm a bit worried that this is going to fly a bit too far on the first jump. But remember, full speed for every car. Okay, not bad, not bad. It's good to land before you start to level out, and that's gone a long way. That's gone to 120. So the Wedge takes the lead, and that's going to go pretty much, well, very nearly to the end, but it doesn't matter as it landed over the 120 space. So that's the Wedge on 120 meters. Next up, we have the Maximus. This is the lorry, or the big rig, as you call it in the United States. And that's going to be quite heavy, so this is going to be building up a lot of speed around here, except it got on the bumper and it hooked a little bit, and that's only going over 40, so there we go. That wasn't good. It kind of got a bit hooked on its front bumper there as the track leveled out. Next up, Pink Lightning. This vehicle, not one of our faster ones, so I can't imagine that's going to build up much speed here. But if it doesn't get caught on itself, which it doesn't, then it might well equal the Maximus, and it does. So we have a joint third at the minute between the Pink Lightning and the Maximus. If we do have a tie, and it comes down to distance, I'll have to look back and see who I think flew slightly further. Right, here goes, I can't actually remember what this vehicle's called, but it's the fire truck. And here goes the flying fire engine to 60 meters. So that's now equal second with the delivery van. And that is a good distance there for the red hot engine, that's what it's called. Right, Mall Slicer next. This is a shopping trolley, or a shopping cart if you're in America. And again, it's one of the slower ones. I think this came last, possibly. Whoa! I think it was one of our last ones in the drag racing challenge, and now it hasn't even made it over. So I'll give it one last attempt to see if it can actually make it over. And if not, then that's going to be it. Well, it can make it over, and it's going to go equal third. There he goes, equal third with 40 meters. And oh dear. Actually, no, that's not equal third, is it? Because we've got both the red hot engine and the delivery van on 60 meters. Ignore me, it has not made it onto the podium. It's the top three that score points, remember. You get 3 points for first place, 2 points for second place, and first place for, and 1 point for third place. That's a good one from Maximus. It got a little bit caught up, but it's going to second. There it goes, 100 meters, second place. Behind the Wedge, that's on course for some points so far. Talking of the championship, I've just had a look back at the old championship standings, and I found out that the Squealer is currently leading from the Ranger in second. There's the Ranger, it's one of the Jeeps, which actually has a lot of grip due to its four-wheel drive. And then in third place we have a tie between the Ladorian, which is there, aka the DeLorean, and the Espionager, which is there. The Espionager winning our Loop the Loop challenge, I believe. So those are the top four in this championship at the minute. The Wedge is technically tied with the Espionager and the Ladorian for third, or at least it is in terms of points. However, it hasn't won an event yet, meaning it's put behind them in the championship standings. Off goes the smooth cruiser. Oh, it's nosedived. It's nosedived, and it's had to run over its bumper there, and that's not going anywhere near far enough to get on the podium there. If you get something very long like that, it does tend to nosedive. What about the Corley? Whoa, I'm doing a backflip! Land it, land it, land it! No, so close. Goodness me, that was really, really impressive there from the Corley, but it's not going to get it over. Again, seeing as it didn't jump, I'm going to give it another go, and if it doesn't, then I'm afraid that's going to be it from the Corley. It is called the Corley, isn't it? Yes, it is the Corley. Still impressive backflip there. It's just too much power. Again, we have to give them all full speed just so that it's a fair test. But yeah, it's just too much power. Oh, come on, that's going to land it. That's going to land it. Yes! Brilliant! And does it? No, that's not going to make it as far as the podium, but wow, that was really impressive there. Actually, was that 80? That was 80, so that will be the podium, will it? I think it was 120 for the Wedge, 100 for the Sasquatch, and now 80 for the Corley. So yeah, I think that is the podium so far. Right, onto the Ranger, second in the championship. Can it pull any points back on the Squealer this time out? That's not good! Oh, it's crashed! Now, can it get over again? I think it just got caught on its front bumper there, on its barge, its bull bar there, I think that's what it's called anyway. Yeah, whatever's happened, it hasn't got... Yeah, well, okay, it's going to make it over this time, but I don't think it's going to fly very far. Does it reach the 80? That's the crucial point. No, it doesn't. So no points this time out for the Ranger, and that's significant because that car is second in the championship going into this round. Now, what about the Street Slicer? This is a skateboard, as you can see, and it's very, very slow. This was one of our slowest in the drag racing challenge. Oh, he's kind of flopped forward, sort of face palmed on the board, and it's only going to 40 meters, I'm afraid. Let's face it, we all expected that, but we have to try out every single vehicle just to make sure. Onto the Comrade, which is a tractor, and oh my word, gets very, very gets a very big wheelie on and only goes to 40 meters. That's a shame there, and I think the problem with that is that the rear wheels are so much bigger than the front wheels. It meant that it did get quite a big wheelie going on. I'm not sure that's very realistic, but never mind. Right, what's this thing called? It's called the Cool Streak, and it's a little Vespa type, moped type thing. And off it goes with the full speed. What is it with motorbikes and the wheelies today? Well, it's got a wheelie on, but it's made it over the edge, so that counts, and it's going to 40 meters. Yeah, you need to have a real balance of power and control, because if you get too much power and you get a wheelie on, you end up losing a lot of momentum as you go over the crest of the hill, and you end up losing out a lot in your finishing result as well. So it really will require a very particular vehicle to do this right. And the centre of gravity is very important as well. You see, the boss drone's got it perfectly. And a vehicle we don't normally expect to go very far has just gone 60 meters. It's not enough for a podium, but that was impressive there from the boss drone. And that, I think, is because of... I mean, it is quite top heavy. It just doesn't have much power. It can't do the wheelie as it goes over the crest of the hill. Onto the hippie van, as it lands on all four wheels. That's crucial. You need to land on all four wheels to go far in this, and that's going to go to 80 meters, is it? No! It touches down just before the 80 meter point, 60 meters, and that's off the podium. Okay, heavy metal, which is heavy and made of metal. Here it goes, full speed, which isn't very fast at all. 8 wheels on this thing, remember. Uses the scrape there to sort of level itself out, but at the same time it's scraping along the ground and rubbing off speed, and it doesn't really go that far at all. So unfortunately for the heavy metal, no points for that. Now the swinger, this is going to be a bad one. I predict that, because the centre of gravity is being swung all over the place with this heavy ball here. And as you can see, it's really messing it up, and that's not going to make it over. Oh, it is going to make it over the edge. To be honest, it's probably better if it hadn't made it over the edge there, because then it would have got another go. And maybe the centre of gravity would have been better for that one. But I think that's a worse one yet. Whoa, as it gets pinged up in the air and swings that wrecking ball around. But, yeah, goodness me, that was not ideal there. And yet, this one's all about the centre of gravity. Now this, the Tokenberg, has a very particular centre of gravity, as it's very top heavy. However, that doesn't appear to affect it as much as I thought it would, as it beak dives straight down on the 40 meter mark. The wings there, definitely keeping it gliding, but not putting it far enough, and that's a bit of a shame. Onto the Shuriken. This was one of our fastest in the drag racing challenge earlier this series. I think it came second in that, so it does have points on the table. I'm hoping for some more today. That's good. That's looking good so far. Look at that! This is going to be first, surely. That was a really, really good run from the Shuriken, and it lands just before the 160 meter point, 140 meters, and that puts the Shuriken to the top of the order, followed by the Wedge in second, and I think the Sasquatch in third. Really good from the Shuriken there. It didn't get too much of a wheelie. I'm surprised by that, because I thought it was just going to wheelie off the start like all of the other motorbikes, but it didn't. It was able to get a good launch off the line, and it landed. The important part is that you land with 2 wheels before the track levels out, so you can take advantage of that of the jump, the full jump, rather than landing at a very harsh angle on the curve here. And it did that, and it put the power down as it went over the jump, and it flew as far as it could have flown. That was really, really good there from the Shuriken. Now, the Grim Wagon, I don't have much confidence for this because it's very low, so I have a feeling that it's going to scrape on the ground and rub off a lot of speed. Here it goes. Yeah, definitely. It's going to nosedive. Oh, front flip. My word, full front flip. And does it continue? No, that's conked out. So that's it for the Grim Wagon. Although it does get another go because it didn't make it completely over. Still, that was quite impressive there. A full front flip from a hearse. Wherever else do you see that? Goodness me. Right, there we go. Full speed. It's full speed. Off it goes again. Come on, catch on the front. No, it's... Wow, a bit of a corkscrew there, and it goes off the side. So I'm afraid that is not going to be enough from the Grim Wagon, unless we can fiddle with the poses or something. Right, now that's further back. So will that keep the back down as it goes over the crest? I like to fiddle with the poses just to see if I can coax it across the edge properly. Now it's just going to swing it further forwards. Yeah, that's not going to help. Okay, this is a troubling one. What about, like, right on the back? Is this going to keep the back down, or is this just going to help it swing forward more? Let's give it a go. It's just going to swing forward more, isn't it? There it goes. Over the top. And again, the engine has conked out. Does it have any more poses? Yeah, right on the top. Can you kind of maybe slow it down? Act as acts as a windbreak? Who knows? It's worth a try. And that's not right. Okay, that looks as if it's going to be all of the chances that the Grim Wagon gets. You had your chance and you blew it. Okay, onto the squealer. And this, of course, is our championship leader. However, I'm worried that this front wing here, this front wing is very, very low. Surely that's going to get caught on the edge. And I'm not sure if this will be able to launch at all. Oh, that's looking pretty level. Yes! No! My word, that was close. I want to see what happened there. But the squealer has got caught on the edge. And this is worrying, because if it can't get over the edge, then it can't score points. So let's watch back what happened to that squealer when it gives us the replay. So it was all looking very, very good at first. It gets a nice launch. Look how level it is at this point. Very, very level, and that's going to land at a very good angle. Wheels first, as important. You're always told to land wheels first in motocross if you ever do bike racing like that. But it just goes too far to the edge, and there we go. The wheels drop off the side, and it can't steer it in, and it just gets caught, and it smashes itself to pieces on the edge there. Right, it does get another chance though, so let's see if the squealer can do any better with this one. Don't go off the edge, don't go off the edge. It didn't, it's kept it in, and it's launched it, and it's blasted it. It's doing a backflip blowover, and it goes 120 meters. That blowover really cost it there. It made it act its own parachute as it was flying, and it's only got joint second so far. And definitely some more opportunities for people to knock it off of its perch. Remember, we've still got the Ladorian coming up, as well as the Espionager, and some new vehicles as well. Can any of those spoil the Shuriken's party here today? The Wastelander, I think, scored a point on our wall climb challenge, if I remember correctly. It certainly got close to doing so. And oh, that's some good grip there, and it launches it off the side. Goes over 100, but that's not going to be enough for a podium. Remember, you need over 120 for a podium at this stage in the competition. Here comes the Ricky Tick as it gets a little bit squirrely. Oh, it's going to launch off sideways. Now that doesn't count. It needs to launch off the very, very end there for it to count as a run. So that means it does get another try here. Full speed. There we go. I'm not sure quite. Yeah, it just seems to pull a little bit to the left as it's going over the crest. I'm not sure whether the character's pose isn't necessarily more to the left. It just seems to pull a little bit. Now, again, I'm going to go through all of the poses as well, just to see if any of them can alter the center of gravity in a way that's beneficial to the vehicle. This I don't think will be, because its problem was nosediving, and this is going to make it nosedive more. So I don't think this is going to help it. But it's worth a shot. Right, here it goes again. Doesn't nosedive more. Now that's really confusing. In fact, it's going to make it over. That's quite a distance, but it's only going to go 80? There we go, 80. Would have been good near the start of the competition, but it's been out jumped since then. And that's not going to go any further. Right, now one of the championship contenders. This is the Ladorian. It's joint third in the championship with the Wedge and with the what else? The Espionager. That's it. And this is hoping to jump further up the championship table here today. So as it puts the power down, there we go, full speed. Lot of wheel spin on those two rear tyres there. But that's very flat. That's very flat, very straight, very true. It's going to go 140, is it? Oh, not quite. Just before. Actually, was its back end over 140 when it touched the ground? It might well have been. If it was, that counts as 140. And the joint win. Let's go back and see that. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. 140 before it landed. So that now is joint first with the Shuriken. I believe the Shuriken went slightly further. Let's give the Tumbler a go. This one has. This one's one of the vehicles that joined our championship late. It only joined as recently as the Wall Climb Challenge, although it's been in for a couple of years now. It's just I haven't played this game in a couple of years. That's pretty level, but not very fast. Again, you need to be level and fast, and the Tumbler only managed to be one of those things, and it goes 80 plus meters. There it goes. Right, Royal Highness. This one based on a London double-decker bus, and as shown by both the name and the stature of the vehicle, let's say it's very, very tall, as shown by the pun, Royal Highness. You can see it wobbling as it loads in here. They've obviously given it comically soft suspension and a very, very wobbly bit of bodywork, and that's probably going to make it quite difficult to make it over the jump here, as its centre of gravity is very all over the place. Goodness me, it's very much all over the place, and it tumbles off the side. Right, this is going to be a tricky one. Let's give it another go. Of course, as a Brit, I feel morally obliged to root for this, but controversial opinion, I actually don't like London very much. It's very smelly, very crowded. I remember going to London once when I was a toddler. I think I was going for a hospital appointment or something, and the stench from the cars just made it made me collapse. I think I very nearly threw up as well. Yeah, that was a very bad day. Look at that, doing the splits on the top of a London bus. I wouldn't want to be in that position, and that's white. Bye, splat. To be honest, I wouldn't want to be on this bus at all if it's doing mad, silly things like this. Right, let's put this guy on the bonnet as it goes over the top. Again, it's just getting messed up as it goes over the crest of the hill, and it's going off the side. Oh, that's an even more precarious position. My goodness, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Just dangling over the back like a towel over a washing line. There we go, full speed. As it launches over the top, and yeah, just gets caught on itself again. Don't do that. Piece of debris raining all over the place. And I'm afraid that's it for the Royal Highness. So a DNF for that, and we move on to the Quad Fin Fighter, which is one of our fastest vehicles, but only when it comes in contact with a boost pad. Now there is no boost pad on this course, so this is going to be just raw natural ability for the Quad Fin Fighter, based on the X-Wing from Star Wars, as it goes over the edge. And that was good. That was very level. Now watch the wings carry it. Does it go 120? Oh, so close! But no points for the X-Wing. That was looking very promising there from the Quad Fin Fighter, and it was a very good run. But we're very picky with who gets given points. Only the top 3 get points in this competition, and that means only the best of the best will succeed rather. Here goes the Bandit, and the Bandit goes to 100. Not bad, very level, but not quite to 120. Sweet Justice. This is our new police car for this challenge. I don't believe either the Bandit or the Sweet Justice have actually done this challenge or competed in this championship before, because they were introduced more recently. Oh, gets caught on his front bumper, and over goes the Sweet Justice there. That was a bad one. Let's try that again. Let's see if it can possibly get a slightly different outcome this time around. Oh, well, the front end still disintegrated, but at least it made it over. It's going to twist in the air, and it's going to make 80 meters there. Does the Sweet Justice. Now, onto another one of our point-scoring cars, which means, yeah, the Sweet Justice and the Bandit must have competed before, because the Espionager has done. The Espionager joint third in this championship, despite only doing the last round. And if this vehicle had done the full series, who knows what it could have achieved. It's quite sad that it didn't. But anyway, let's give it another go. With full speed ahead. Does it land levelly? Oh, not bad. Bit of a drift. And that's not going to go far enough. That's only going to go to 80 meters. So no points today for our Espionager. Meaning this one is going to be a real shake-up of the championship. None of our main championship rivals are actually going to score points today. Of course, we're used to seeing that in this championship, because it's a very picky one in terms of who scores points. Only of course the top 3 score points, meaning not many opportunities to do so. Onto the pivot now. This is our first brand new vehicle, and I say vehicle, it's actually just a sofa. A sofa with an exhaust pipe if you look closely. Oh, with 2 exhausts, nice. A lot of power into my sofa today. A A lot of power in the sofa, as you see. And one advantage it has going for it is that it's very wide, so very level, but not very fast, as it doesn't have much of an engine. Ooh, that's a heavy landing, and it only went just over 40 meters, just over 50 meters, I'd say, but that doesn't count. Anyway, onto the Magnum, based on a classic. I think it's based on a classic Bentley, like the 8 cylinders that used to race at Brooklands back in the 1920s and 30s. Very nice looking vehicle, and going again here today. If I can ever get it up to full speed. I suppose that was a problem with the originals as well, getting it up to full speed. They weren't very quick at accelerating, were they? There we go, full speed, and it's very long, so it gets caught on the front wheels instead of the splitter, which is good. There is no splitter, in fact. I don't know why I said that. It goes 80 meters. Possibly a bit more power would have done it, but yeah, no points for the Magnum. Onto the Jugger. Now this is interesting. If you get this over a boost pad, in fact I'll show you this just quickly. This won't count, but if you get it over a boost pad, the Jugger does a very interesting thing. I'm pretty sure you've already figured out what it might be. There you go. Shoots cannonballs, and that is very useful for if you have a course with a lot of obstacles to gain points off, or if you have a course with a lot of cars to hit. For example, like the T-junction, the Jugger is very good for high score, at least on maps like that. However, here, because of its short wheelbase, it's just kind of falling over sideways, which means it's struggling to get over the edge of the ramp. And that's a problem for the Jugger, because of course if you don't get over the edge of the ramp, you don't get scored, and then you don't get points. There it goes. It tumbles over sideways again. Well, it is going to make it off the ramp, but not in the right direction, I'm afraid. Ooh, bounces on its hatch, and then the cannon will flip it over again. Let's put the guy on the cannon at the end there. Mr. Dismount holding on for dear life as we get full speed on the Jugger. Again, it seems like it's steering at the start there, and as it steers, it just kind of gets flipped, just gets tipped sideways and flipped off the edge, which is a real problem for this Jugger. Yeah, there we go. It kind of steers off the side, and because of the cannon spinning round, it does mean as well that the centre of gravity is a bit wonky. I'm afraid the Jugger will not make it over. What about the Loco, which is of course kind of like a fairground train type thing? I'm worried about this point at the end here, the triangle. I really don't think that it's going to make it over, because I think that triangle, that cone rather I should say, not a triangle. I really think the cone is going to get caught on the ground or caught on the ramp. And we're about to see that happen. Yeah. Oh wow, it's actually gone over sideways. Never mind. Didn't even need to worry about the cone. But let's try that again. Full speed. Did a very similar thing to the Squealer there, and remember the Squealer went on to score points. However, the Loco having more problems here today. Let's put him on the funnel. Full speed. There he goes. Yeah, it seems to tip over to the right, to its right hand side of it. I'm worried whether it's just this little funnel here making all the difference. I'd be surprised if it was, but it does seem to be tipping over to the right a bit. It's only got one more opportunity here. Let's see if this is all it needs. Don't tip over. It's tipping over again. It's going to go off the edge. My word. So the Loco goes off. Does an impressive barrel roll, but I'm afraid that doesn't count for anything. And we move on now to another of our new vehicles. Actually, another sort of train. More like a mine train, which is Old Creaky. Now, Old Creaky, of course, should have two people on the front operating these handles. But with the magic of Turbo Dismount, we don't need one of them. Now, does it jackknife? I wouldn't be surprised if the carriage... Oh, it's actually shedded one of the characters for weight reduction. And it goes over the edge, but it doesn't land. As I was saying, I wouldn't have been surprised if the rear end would have overtaken the front with the gravity here as it kicked over the ledge, but that didn't happen, and it didn't jackknife. Now, can't tell. This thing is very, very fast. I can tell you from trying it out. But I also think it's going to be quite level. There he goes. Yeah, because it doesn't have. While it's low, it doesn't have any bits that can really catch on the edge. And look at that. It's going to be our third vehicle to get over 120 meters there. Very good from the Cantel, and it's definitely on for points here today, unless anything else can go 140 meters or over. Onto Whiplash. This is, of course, a bumper car from the fairground or something, and I'm interested to see what happens when it lands, because this rubbery edge is just going to ping it around like a pinball. Yeah, there we go. Look at that! My goodness! I told you it would. My word, it's still bouncing. That's fantastic. I'd love to see what would happen if you actually dropped a real bumper car from a height. That'd be really quite interesting to see. It wouldn't be as dramatic as that, but still, it would be an interesting spectacle. Onto the Jamboree. This, I think, I mean, sorry to the Lance, but I think is going to be the last chance for anything to do well. I don't know how fast this thing is. I don't think I've tested it like that, but we'll see. That's going to be good. Yeah, oh, little bit of a drift, shedding weight. Oh, it's not very fast. I think it just got caught on the edge there, and only went 80 meters. And our last competitor is the Lance. If the Lance can't do this, then that means I believe the Shuriken will be our winner here today. Let's. There we go. Full speed for the Lance, the ambulance, which I've only just got, is why Lance is a pun. Ambulance, and I'm afraid it doesn't go far enough. So the Shuriken wins it here today, and let's have a look back at the replays to determine the other positions. So as you can see, after that round, it's the Squealer at the top of the championship with 7 points, gaining another point today, and the Ladorian and the Shuriken are now tied for second on 5 points each, just out of the Ranger with 4 points. I hope you enjoyed this round, and I will see you next round. I can't promise when it's going to be, and I haven't decided what the challenge is going to be quite yet, but nearing the end of the season, it's getting very exciting. So I'm looking forward to the next round. I think I'm probably going to record it the next time I get some free time. It shouldn't be too long. And yeah, I will see you then. Goodbye!